Hey, Pop. Well, my morning's been starting out about the same for the most part, but they just feel so different. More days than not, I'm starting by making the coffee, feeding the dogs, I check the headlines, and then I end up here. I mean, logically, I know that the amount of time in each day hasn't increased, but there's definitely a larger percentage of each of my days that just seems unfulfilled. I gravitate here because I've always loved this spot. It's almost like it was made to sit in silence, take personal inventory, and reflect. There's just so much more for me to reflect on now. I got the call from Dylan last Tuesday morning. As soon as I answered, he broke into tears and he told me that you were called home. Emotionally and even physically, I went numb. And honestly, Dad, I still very much feel that way. It was never supposed to be like this. It's no secret that we haven't seen eye to eye over the years. We've always had differences, and honestly, Pop, I could never figure out why we fought so much. Was it because we're so much alike or because we're so different? I guess the honest truth is a little bit of both. But at this point, it really doesn't matter why. Regret is easily one of the worst emotions that a person has to deal with. It's haunting and it hurts. I have so much regret when it comes to how our story ended. I want you to know that when we spoke that last time and you were so angry with me, please understand that I never imagined that would be our final conversation and those would be the final words spoken between us. It's really hard in this moment to accept that is how we left things. I wish there was a way that I could have one last chance to explain things to you and you to me, and then we'd find some kind of common ground. That opportunity will never present itself to me. And I'm just so mad about that, Dad. I kind of smile sometimes, though. I get so angry and I start feeling sorry for myself, and eventually we'll think about how unfair this feels. And it seems like in those times, you cross my mind and I hear your voice tell me one of the most valuable lessons you ever taught me. Son, life isn't fair and it doesn't give a shit about your feelings. I never thought that those words would be some of the ones that I rely on to comfort me in losing you. If I knew then in that last conversation what I know now. I think about what caused our differences a lot since you left, Pop. The one thing that I come back to in thinking about all of it is that none of it matters. It doesn't matter now and it shouldn't have mattered then. I want you to know that I'm truly sorry for not being the son that you deserved. I fell short of that so many times in my life. I should have done better. You stood by me in times that I didn't deserve for you to, but you always found a way and you'd be there for me. Looking back, anytime that you weren't there, it was my fault. I want you to know that even despite all my hard-headedness, I did learn lessons from you. You did pass on everything to me that you could have been expected to. I know you felt like I never listened, and maybe that was true to some degree. But even though I did things my own way, in the end, I usually see that, yeah, you were right. I should have just listened all along. I hope you know that I grew up in awe of you. I vividly remember when you were getting ready for work when I was like toddler age. I remember seeing you put on that TPD uniform and watching you strap on your gun rig, and then you headed out to work and I knew you were going out to catch bad guys. That meant you were my own personal superhero. When I got older, I admired the career you put together as a SWAT operator. And then I watched you pass along all your knowledge and skills to others so that would increase their odds to go home safely to their families. You always told me you felt like that was God's plan for you, to teach others and to help keep them safe. That was honorable, Pop, and you did your part to ensure that those guys went home to their families. I'll always admire you for that. No matter what went on in our relationship, I always respected and admired the person you were in your professional life, Dad. I hope you knew that. You gave me some of my favorite memories in the hunting trips that we took. The last few years, those are the memories that I'm trying to find solace in right now, making myself concentrate on what good times we had together. There's the night we both knocked a doe down right at the end of legal shooting time. You at one end of the lease and I was on the other. I can remember texting you after I saw my deer hit the dirt. As I was sitting there typing my update, my screen rolled up and there was a new message from you. I got one down. I remember in that moment, I knew that we had created a memory that I would be glad to have in the moments that we're seeing right now. That night was and always will be easily one of the top 3 hunts we ever went on together. Or I think about our phone call on the evening that I knocked down that big 10-point bruiser. You were so stoked for me and told me how proud you were of me. I'll always remember your voice and the emotion in that call. I've had this feeling the past few days like you're still here in a sense. I know that's you that I'm picking up on. I'm gonna guess it's because we have unfinished business. And I get it, Dad. That business has haunted me since the moment Dylan called and told me you were gone. I'm not sure if anything can change the way that I feel about it all. I get through my days trying to stay busy right now. I've been spending a lot of time with my dogs, and I think about how I grew to love waterfowl retrievers so much. And that's because you raised me around labs and showed me how to teach them to work. I make time pass by doing the work so deer season will be successful this year. I don't know. Maybe I'm busying myself with those chores because I feel close to you when I'm getting them done. Honestly, Dad, I spend the majority of my time just thinking and trying to manage the regret that I have. I deal with my emotions through my camera. I'm not quite sure you ever totally understood that, so I'm not sure you can fully grasp the meaning of me not touching my camera since all this happened. It's not because I don't feel anything, Pop. It's because I feel everything all at once. I literally have no clue where to start to deal with this. I'm hoping the fact that I woke up and had a need to make this film, I hope that means that I'm looking for a way to start to heal. There's so many things I wish I would have said and I wish I would have done, and it pisses me off that opportunity will never be presented to me. This story was not supposed to end like this. It just wasn't supposed to happen this way. I keep fighting from becoming consumed by my anger. I just stay so mad about our ending, Pop. A good friend had some powerful words to me about this, though. He told me that even though the ending to the story was heartbreaking, that doesn't take away from the fact that there were some badass chapters. That saying has kind of become my mantra these past few days. It brings me as much peace as anything could in this predicament, and that is helping me to maintain. I wish I could do more than offer words that are coming far too late, but right now that's all I have, Dad. Thank you. I should have told you that more. A lot more. I love you, Dad. That never changed no matter what we went through. I miss you. I still don't think I've accepted that you're gone. I just can't wrap my head around it. But damn it, Dad, I miss you. And finally, Pop, I'm so sorry.